The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Win big this Friday with Free Ticket Friday. This Friday, you can win tickets to Dierks Bentley, the Broken Branches Tour. Ben, that's coming to, excuse me.
You all right?
Not really. Utah First Federal Credit Union Amphitheater on July 31st. Get your tickets now at livenation.com or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day on Friday for your chance to win.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, very cool.
And that concert's coming up, Ben.
Did you say the 31st?
Yeah.
Nice.
Get your cowboy hats. My wife bought a new cowboy hat yesterday.
Oh.
And
the
she
Downs?
bought some, yeah, she bought some for our kids too.
Nice.
I suppose. I've never,
I don't have
no,
a
she
cowboy
looks
hat.
like really good in a cowboy hat. I don't think I do.
You could pull it off.
Maybe not with the bluey shirt.
Yeah. We need to get you
Well-
a button up,
First of all, that's Bandit,
some blue jeans.
not Bluey.
Get you a pair of dirt kickers, some boots.
But see, that's not me. See,
Oh yeah, you're not real. I mean, I guess you are a little bit of a degenerate when you go to the Downs and take your children, which I do love about you. That's not an insult.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, you can dress the part, right?
No, because
Then
that's
again,
not
you gotta
me.
be careful because you also might get beat up.
Well, I'm
by
not
by an NHL player
That's how I live my life.
who's living the
It's-
real life.
One, wrong loudmouth statement away from getting beat up. That's
Come on, man.
That's familiar territory for me. But no, this is the entire dilemma I had going to Nashville. I'm not going to cosplay something that I'm not.
Okay.
Now, I'm more than willing to give the music a chance and jam out and have a good time. But I'm not cowboy boots guy. No offense to those that are.
Sure.
Love you.
Of course.
Not me.
You're not going to role play.
No, I'm not going to roll. I had a tie-dye bucket hat on. That's what I had on.
Which is
So-
authentically you.
Which is authentically me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, my wife does look good in a cowboy hat. Like it was a good look
Tweet
on
out
her.
a photo or?
No, I'm not going to
Okay.
do that.
Well, you're advertising.
No, but it suits her. Does that make any sense? I don't think
Yeah.
a cowboy hat suits me.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were a real cowboy, like out in the wilderness or something like that, I'd surely starve and die. So
Okay.
I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not.
Stolen valor.
Stolen valor.
Cowboy valor.
Not quite as cool as the stolen clown valor. We talked about off the air last week.
Okay.
I didn't realize that like calling somebody a bozo was actually like insulting actual clowns somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's true,
Apparently.
according to the Clowns Without Borders clown, who's actually a clown.
A working clown.
Yeah, a working
Professional.
clown. Yeah, which I understand that they are. There was actually a clown named Bozo. So are we insulting Bozo by calling people bozos?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Bozo's long dead, though. Christian?
The original?
Working on it.
Okay, all right. We'll check in to see if Bozo's actually dead. Ben, is Ace Bailey going to play tonight?
I don't know. I haven't got an injury report yet. Look, I will say this. I was told before Summer League that the Jazz were going to play their guys a lot. They wanted to play all their young guys a lot. And actually, you want to know what I do feel bad about secretly, which I probably shouldn't because it has nothing to do with me, but it's a weakness. I feel bad for all these guys who signed on for the Jazz Summer League who have not played at all.
Yeah.
There are like 7 guys on the Summer League roster who have not suited up. I mean, they're suited up. They have not taken the floor once in these games. And look, we knew the Jazz were going to have a bunch of Summer League players. Bryce Sensabaugh, Ace Bailey, Walt Clayton, Cody Williams, Kyle Filipowski, R.J. Lewis, John Tonji. And even those guys most of those guys have been hurt. And still a lot of these guys who are like, this is my chance, Mom. I signed with an NBA team. I'm going to go show out in Summer League. Haven't even gotten on the floor. Now, I would imagine the Jazz will pay that off by letting them play in like their last Summer League game or last 2 Summer League games, and those guys will get most of the reps, and the Jazz would plan on resting their veteran players who ideally had played 6 Summer League games already. But now a lot of those guys, R.J. Lewis, John Tonji, Ace Bailey, Walt Clayton, have missed some games and haven't played a lot. Maybe they will play these last couple of games, and some of these guys are never actually going to see the floor. That's where I actually feel bad for these players. But do the Jazz need to see more from Ace Bailey? Yes, in the sense that he's only ever played 2 games in the NBA. But Do I think they feel like they have a sense of who he is? Probably. And do I think they're valuing this over the next 2 months of him being in Salt Lake City and being at the ZBBC and working every week and, getting to actually, you're not supposed to be with coaches and certain things they can do and can't do, but having him in their building and watching him over and over and repping with the other players over and over and over in the gym, that's probably more valuable to them than putting out a couple of minutes here and there in Summer League. I do think that's probably how they are viewing it. And the fact that they did want to play their guys and they haven't been able to play leads me to believe there's at least some authenticity to these injuries.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, because of course they tell you that. They want you to write that.
Sure.
They want that to be, and actually in their heart of hearts, I'm sure they do want him to play as much as possible, I guess. But I don't know. It's if he's really injured, let me put it this way. If he's really injured, he should go home.
Well, I think there's value to having him around the team.
But, okay, for
sure.
Semantics. He should be done playing. If he's injured at all, he should be done playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
So, I don't know. I think maybe you're spacing it out a little bit. I'm with you on the bottom of the roster and guys that haven't played, but we never know why they're even on the team. Britton Johnson played. Did he play for the Jazz his rookie summer league?
I don't think so.
No, he played for somebody else. Who am I thinking of? Spencer
Pacers.
Nelson.
Yeah.
But there are any number of local ball players that played summer league for the Jazz, or John Stockton's son played for the Jazz in summer league, or whatever. Maybe you're doing an agent a favor. There's all sorts of reasons. That's gets back to the point about expecting competitive legitimacy from the summer league. It's just not. The rosters aren't even put together to be competitive because it's just not the point.
And some of these guys may have been under that understanding when they signed with the Jazz, that this was your just opportunity to make a little bit of summer league money. And look, guys, we got a deep roster.
Yeah, you
your
want to
agent
put something
knows,
on film.
Your agent knows we got a lot of players on our team that are going to play ahead of you. There might not be minutes for you, but this is your opportunity. If you want to play more, go sign somewhere else. And that may be an agreement.
No, I'm sure that Spencer Nelson will tell you. Well, I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for the guy. But that he wanted to put NBA on his resume for Europe. And he wanted to put together some tape with him in a Jazz uniform to go play. And Spencer had a long, successful career in Europe. It's kind of like I'm sure it's kind of like a Stanford degree. It'll get you in a lot of doors, even if you were bottom of your class. You know what I mean? So there are all sorts of reasons why people are even on summer league teams. So I don't think it's fair to expect legitimacy. Now, do I want to watch Ace Bailey work on whatever they've given him to work on? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I want to see Cody Williams get up 17 more shots? Do I think that would be good for him? Absolutely. But do I need to see it in every game of the summer league? I don't think so.
No, and look, to your point, you are seeing things. Cody Williams is out there playing a lot. Flip is playing really well. Kyle Filipowski is a really good player. He's certainly great in this environment, and we'll have to see again how he translates once he gets into the NBA, and he was good last year. And he's still got to figure out what his role is. He's got to figure out who he's going to defend and if he can defend, and if he can't, how do the Jazz use him? Is he purely a bench player at that point who can only play 15 minutes a game and you hope he outscores his matchup or provides a different dynamic for his matchup? All of those things are still valuable for the Jazz right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And him too.
Isaiah Collier, getting a lot of run right now. But I get that the season was about Ace Bailey, and this is an opportunity where fans want to see him.
Well, Isaiah's got something to prove.
He does.
That's another thing. Why are players playing? And Isaiah Collier finished the year last year as the starting point guard. That is by no means a given, I'm guessing, going into this year.
No,
He's got something to really go out there and play. And whatever they're telling him to do, if I'm him, I'm doing down to the very syllable.
Yes. His problem is he just can't shoot. He still can't shoot. He's not shooting well in summer league right now. And at some point, if Walker Kessler is going to be on your team, that's probably as much non-shooting as you can have on your roster on the floor at any one time.
Yeah. Well, you and I talked about this all last year about both Flip and Collier. Is they both do some really nice things where you say, okay. And Collier is good at basically everything but shooting.
Yeah.
But if he can't learn to shoot, he might be out of the league.
Yeah.
And Flip, if he doesn't find a position he can guard, might be out of the league.
Yeah.
As fun as it is to watch him play offense and as skilled as he really is, who does he guard?
Yeah. It's a major issue. It's a big thing for him. And yeah, if you want to play 35 minutes a night, 32 minutes a night and be a star, and his offensive skills through the roof, it's really crazy how good he is at that size. But yes, if you're going to jump at everything and overcorrect on every closeout and be blown past every time somebody dribbles, it's really hard to play you because teams will stop trusting you.
Do we know if Dylan Harper's going to play tonight?
I haven't seen. He did play in their last game. He did play against. He played on Saturday against Cooper Flag.
Can you explain
Maybe
to
it was
me?
Friday.
Can you explain to me like the bozo that I am? And by the way, bozo, not one person.
Okay, lots of bozos.
Lots of bozos.
The original one has long
died.
Long ago.
Rest his soul.
passed, yeah.
How long ago?
Like 67 or something like that.
He died in 67?
Yeah.
Wow. That makes
The
you think.
character was introduced, I think, in the 40s.
Well, as long as the original bozo isn't alive to be offended, I'm fine with using the term, I suppose. But explain to me, like I'm the bozo that I am, Ben, why Dylan Harper was the hands down number 2 pick.
A little bit of the league. It's in vogue right now. Big guards are in vogue, right? Shea wins MVP. Luka's 6'7", et cetera, et cetera. Dylan Harper is a 6'6" guard, and probably can be a lead guard. And that's kind of his push. He's got exceptional size, and he's very smooth. Like he really gets into the paint at will, even though he's not particularly quick like Isaiah Collier. But he's got great feet, so he just splits double teams and gets to the rim and can do a little bit outside of that. Gets to his jump shot in the mid-range, but he can't shoot threes at all. Not at all, but not great.
I just wonder why San Antonio wouldn't consider drafting somebody like Ace Bailey, for example, because they have such overlapping guards. Was he really that high of commodity that you're just – because every team will tell you best player available, but that really means like if it's absolutely hands down, no doubt the best player. Because like – I get it, the lore of the Blazers getting screwed over because they already had Clyde Drexler, the ultimate example. But really, if you've got a paid veteran, the rookie of the year, right, as well, playing the same position, and you still draft a guy, he better be awesome. I mean, he better be like the can't miss big guard of a lifetime.
We have talked a lot about this, and maybe not a lot, but we've talked about this before, and it is weird to go back and look at the number 2 overall pick historically in the NBA because it is way more of a whiff than like the number 1 overall pick. The consistency that the number 1 overall hits is so much higher than the number 2, and I would bet you 3 might even hit more than number 2. And I'll just go back through some of the names. And what you can kind of see, I think, is what I would fear for Dylan Harper, and I like Dylan Harper in the draft too. But so we'll just start with, we'll go back 3 years. Jalen Green, who's just got traded to the Suns. James Wiseman, who's on his second team already. Ja Morant, who's been excellent but has kind of fallen off. Marvin Bagley, terrible, right? Lonzo Ball. Injuries have derailed his career, but really never lived up to being Lonzo Ball. Brandon Ingram, underwhelming, right? Was supposed to be the next Kevin Durant. D'Angelo Russell.
Yikes.
Jabari Parker.
Like half these guys have been on the Lakers too, which is kind
Victor
of funny.
Oladipo. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Oh,
Derek Williams. Evan Turner. Hashim Thabit. Look, these are in order. I'm not cherry picking.
Hashim Thabit.
Michael Beasley. And then you get back
Super
to
cool
a really
bees.
good run. Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge. But even maybe the best example of this is Marvin Williams, who I loved Marvin Williams. One of my favorite players I've ever covered. Like a gentleman. Really fun on the court, but was certainly not the number 2 overall player from that class. Chris Paul was in that class.
He was
Darren
a little
Williams
ahead
was
of
in
his
that class.
time.
Right. Big wing, et cetera, et cetera. But also, I think that actually kind of goes into our Dylan Harper point, which is at that point, big wings were in. We were like, who's going to be the next LeBron? Who's going to be the next superstar here that is in the role of the guy we're currently watching in the playoffs? So we're trying to replicate that in the draft. So Shea gets MVP, leads the Thunder to the championship, and we're in the draft and we're watching this process and we say, well, maybe Dylan Harper can be the next guy. Because we, and I mean everybody in basketball, even front offices, are really bad at like separating what's popular and projecting what's actually going to be good 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. They just kind of draft what's happening right now. And the best teams kind of get ahead of the game a little bit.
Like how many big stiffs were taken to combat Shaq?
Correct. Or because you hoped maybe he'll be the next Shaq.
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, none of them. Never. Is Dylan Harper going to be the next Shea? No, he's not going to. And so if you're drafting him hoping he's going to be the next Shea, he's not. Brandon Ingram never turned into the next Kevin Durant, but he got drafted number 2 overall with the hope that he would be the next Kevin Durant. Marvin Williams got drafted number 2 overall hoping he would be the next LeBron-esque. Same with Jabari Parker, Andrew Wiggins, why he went number 1 overall. It's like the hope is he would be the next star. So that's part of why Dylan Harper went number 2 overall. He looks like what stars look like in the NBA currently. The other problem is we kind of lock into like, this guy's going to be the second pick early in the draft process, which is, you only get 1 year to do it now. You only get one season because everyone's one and done at the top 5 or 6 picks. And we just lock into that. And I think people really push back on anyone who speaks differently about that quote-unquote consensus. Which, look, that's true for every player I just named. There were a consensus on almost all of these guys were number 2. And everyone's afraid to challenge that. And then they just take a guy at number 2 who, regardless of fit for San Antonio, regardless of need in San Antonio.
Yeah, the Draft Express, it felt like they drafted him for him.
Yeah, and they don't take the guy that they probably should have taken.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jazz did this with Dante Exum, right? They were afraid of going against the consensus was there are 5 guys in this draft or 4 guys in this draft, and they had the 5th pick, and then one of the guys from the top 4 fell to them, and they said, well, we got to take him. No, you don't.
You saw what Jabroni said on Draft Express. You gotta draft this guy.
Jabroni.
That's what happened. That's what I wonder. That's what I wonder. Did Jabroni draft this guy for the Spurs? I mean, if he turns out to be all that, fine. But
right,
why was it the consensus? Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Why was it?
Well, and here's the truth. And I hate this. Yeah, I'm with you. Best player available, but best player available should mean a lot of different things to a lot of different teams. Do you know how to develop those players?
Yeah, right.
Like, do you have Chip England? If you know who Chip England is, he's the greatest shooting coach in NBA history.
He's with Memphis now.
He's at Memphis now, but he was with the Spurs, and he taught Bruce Bowen, and he taught Kawhi Leonard, and he taught all these guys how to shoot threes. And all of a sudden, all of them became great at shooting. If you have that guy, and you know that's going to work, draft Herb Jones or draft guys who can't shoot and turn them into great shooters. Right now, there's a guy in New Orleans who's really teaching guys how to shoot well. Herb Jones, et cetera, Trey Murphy. So if they want to go out and take Jeremiah Fears, the point guard who couldn't shoot at all at Oklahoma, but you think you can teach him to shoot, okay, that actually makes a little bit of sense. If your team has no history of being able to develop guys, you don't have people in your system that can develop guys to add a skill like that, why would they be best player on your board? You don't know how to fix that.
Like that?
Why? If you don't know how to fix it, don't draft that person. So I think boards should look different. I don't think there should be a consensus of every board looking the same. And if there is, that's just hive mind. That's just groupthink of everyone's afraid to actually step out and kind of have their own
it's
opinion.
cowardice is what it is.
Yeah. And look, I suffer from it too. I absolutely have it. Yeah. It's hard to do because it's such an impossible task of saying what these guys are going to look like 3 or 4 years from now, because there's a trillion different things. Are they going to be with a teammate who brings out the best of them, or a teammate who brings out the worst in them? Because that happens.
Well, when everybody says something, it's easy to agree.
It is.
And to go against the grain takes a little courage.
It's dangerous to put your head up.
Yeah. I mean, it's why you go look through, Jabroni and Chad Ford and all these guys. You go look through their histories, and they speak so confidently about something that they don't know anything about.
Right.
Like, you can pick through, look at what they said about all those number 2 picks. And all those guys are like, this guy is the next
whatever. He's going to be a star. This guy is going to be a star.
And,
but yes, you can go back pick by pick and look at who the other best players were in the NBA and show you why they picked that guy.
Another way that LeBron entirely did us all a disservice, and here's where I'm going to actually give him a compliment. Everybody said that LeBron was good, and then he turns out to be incredibly good. And what, everybody said he was going to be. And now we just assume it. Now it's just, that's right. Like, you really want to be the one who passed on LeBron James? Jabroni said he's going to be the next Kevin Durant. Are you really going to be the general manager that passed on Kevin Durant?
Right.
You saw what happened to that bozo in Portland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not working anymore. Oh, okay, I'll do what Jabroni said, because that way the blowback can't be bad, because I can point it. It's like Kyle Whittingham in his probability sheet on 4th downs.
Yeah.
It's like, it says here that I should have done it.
Yeah.
It's just something to point at when you make a mistake. To this day, do people look negatively on Dennis Lindsey for drafting Dante Exum, or do they go like this, like, well, he fell.
What did I just say? What did I just say?
Right.
There were 5 guys in the draft. Well, no, there weren't, because Julius Randle went there and Marcus Smart went there, and there's much better players later in the draft.
Like five according to who?
Yeah, right. Just because a lot of people said it and it got caught in the echo chamber, and that's what you heard.
Yes.
And said it over and over and over.
It's ridiculous.
So yes, that is part of the issue, and that is, I will say, Dylan Harper's good. Do I promise he's going to be better than Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe or Con Knipple or Trey Johnson or any of these guys? No.
Yeah.
Of course not. I can't
And it was
promise
such
that.
a consensus, though, that he go to. I just wonder.
It was such a non-question.
I just wonder why.
To the point where I don't know how many players the Spurs worked out.
Right.
It's like, you're that confident?
Lonzo Ball. That was him with the Lakers.
Exactly right.
All right, Casey Smurthwaite is going to join us. It was big news last week. Diana Sabau is leaving Utah State, and we'll talk to Casey about it. He's written about it. We'll get to that coming up next. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, bro. You hear us every day with our crazy opinions.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, now it's time to hear from you.
Hey, great show.
Download the KSL Sports app and fire off your thoughts with the call-in tab on the bottom of your screen.
Your show is fantastic. It's the one that captivates me the most.
You can tell PK to stop singing.
G-Bang.
Let Jake and Ben know what you really think of the Jazz.
Woo!
Tell Hans and Scotty about your favorite barbecue spot or what color of tie JJ should be wearing on TV. The best entries will be played on the air. Download the KSL Sports app now and hit the call-in button to let your voice be heard.
I think you guys do an incredible job.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I want to remind you, Ethan Millard with Teton Wealth will be live in studio coming up tomorrow with Hans and Scotty to help you with your retirement plan. Tune in or visit retireteton.com. All right, Ben, it was big news last week. Diana Sabau is leaving Utah State. She's going to Maryland, where she will be an associate athletic director.
Deputy
Athletic
yeah.
director? Whatever. Not here anyway. Not in Logan anymore, anyway. Joining the show now, he wrote a piece explaining some of this for herosports.com, but he is a consultant for athletics admin, specializing in revenue generation, licensing, marketing, and higher education. I've actually met him a time or two myself. He is Casey Smurthwaite. Sorry, Casey. With us here on Jake and Ben. What's going on, man?
Hey, we're still friends. Long-time listener, first-time caller. But, yes, we have crossed paths, and I'm pumped to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I remember. Good times up there in Logan. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Casey, I do think this move raised some eyebrows. First of all, it's been tumultuous up at Utah State with a lot of their issues and Title IX problems, and I think a lot of people wondered if Diana Sabau's time was just not for long at Utah State anyways. And then you see that, yeah, she takes a deputy athletic director role at a bigger school, but it's a smaller role. And I think what was interesting reading your article is that maybe that actually isn't what happened here, and that we are just seeing a redesign in how athletic front offices look like in college athletics overall.
Absolutely. And you nailed it. Spot on. You look at it and you kind of go, huh? Why? What? Now, you can't even take a backtrack here and say, I think the clock essentially started as soon as President Cantwell left. I mean, Diana had a long leash. She made great decisions. She got him into the Pac-12. She had a lot of revenue-generating opportunities with the Reach and Rise campaign, but I think the clock started when President Cantwell left. Now, again, you look at it first glance and go, okay, now wait a second, what's happening here? But then you take a little bit more of a look, and she's essentially running the day-to-day operations, and it says that in the press release of Maryland Athletics. The new, I'm putting it in air quotes here, athletic director, or maybe let's call him, the president of athletics. I think she's going to be the CEO of Maryland Athletics and really running the day-to-day operations. And I think it's more of a landscape shift. I work with a lot of Division I and Division II athletic departments. And over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of reimagining on how org charts, leadership, and it's really taking shape right now from general managers and individual sports all the way up to this hire with Maryland. And here in the next week or two, it could even be today, Rutgers will announce somebody from pro sports as their quote unquote, president of athletics. The only thing that's holding them up is that they're waiting to find out who's going to be their Diana, and they want to announce them simultaneously.
So where does this leave Utah State, and how do you expect them to proceed as strategy-wise in this new world?
In this new world, I will say this. Aggie Nation can take a step back and breathe. The world's not falling. Utah State's in a great spot. They got to where they wanted to be, and that's the Pac-12. They are growing in revenues. They are growing as a fan base, and their brand is out there. And I think they have great leadership on the individual sport programs. Now, here's the kicker in all of this. They have an interim president. There's a lot of transition going on, and if I'm a betting man, which spoiler alert I am, I think they're going to diversify some of these responsibilities, divvy it up amongst a couple of folks. I think you might see them bringing in one or two individuals that are tied to the program and see President Smith take on more of a leadership role before they find a permanent athletic director. Utah State athletics is in a great spot. The culture there is strong. There's a reason why they keep having turnover. I personally would rather have that turnover if I'm a president or even a fan than, okay, we got to fire and then reset every couple of years. On the flip side, hey, you know what? It really sucks that they're having to go out and rehire new people, new culture, and go through a tumultuous time. But I think you would rather have that winning pedigree, that winning culture that transcends whoever is in the chair. And that chair is going to be highly sought after. I can't tell you the amount of folks in the industry that have reached out to me. These are sitting athletic directors. These are high-level Power 4 deputy athletic directors that are interested in Utah State, and a good chunk of them have ties. To use as a comparison right now, you have Marshall has an AD opening. There's about 3 or 4 finalists. There are 3 sitting athletic directors applying on that job as finalists. That job is nowhere near what that Utah State job is. And with that said, I think you're going to see one of the strongest candidate pools that Utah State has ever seen for that athletic director position.
You mentioned kind of being a different or a change of like the organizational chart of whose responsibilities are what in athletic front offices. Are there going to be, I guess, perceived, just because we're bad at change, head-scratching hires of like, that person's the athletic director? They've never run a college before. They've only run businesses before. Are we going to see more hires like that and then filling out, I don't want to say underlings, but kind of filling out down the depth chart people who have more athletic day-to-day responsibilities?
Yes, absolutely. And you're seeing it over the last couple of years. Even a lot of pushback, especially at Stanford with Andrew Luck coming in, and even at Cal with Ron Rivera. I mean, a pro guy, hasn't really been in the college game for 35 plus years, and there's a strong push for him to essentially be what would equate to the president of athletics, but in reality, he's just kind of the GM or the special advisor. A couple years ago, you started to see a lot of athletic directors really come in and make changes within the first 6 to 8 weeks. And some of them, even at Texas A&M, even before the end of their first week, they have wiped out, dozens of employees. They're becoming more like true front offices of professional sport organizations. They're coming in and they're hiring, to use, a football term, their offensive and defensive coordinators. The days of them just coming in, inheriting their staff, being okay with their deputy athletic directors, those are kind of going away. There's a huge transition right now. But the other aspect in all of this, Jake and Ben, is that nobody has the right answer, and I think everybody's trying to find it. So you're going to see some of these head-scratching moves where the assistant to the regional manager of Dunder Mifflin or Utah State Athletics is all of a sudden going to find themselves in a higher position, in a higher role. But a lot of schools are trying to figure out in this new era with NIL, with revenue share, and there's even private equity coming into play, some of these hires are going to be more lenient towards those areas than before.
Is this new trend good for college sports?
I will say this. I think it's a good trend if there's a collective bargaining agreement and they get to that point, or if they get an anti-exemption. And we can go down that path another time. But what I'll say is, at the end of the day, it's still about the student-athlete experience. If they're getting everything taken care of, it doesn't matter who's in the chair. It doesn't matter, who the head coach is. But as of right now, for me, if I have a knee-jerk reaction, I'm a little hesitant with it because, for example, fundraising in higher ed, you were living through the nonprofit side of an entity of the university. You're running through a 501c3. you are out there trying to generate funds for student athletes, for some of these facility buildings, some of these projects. Versus, you go to the professional world on the fundraising side, there is none. And if there is, it's very community service based. It's, your NFL helping hands. It's the players handing out, turkeys at Thanksgiving. It's giving back in forms of scholarships, or pledging Five for the Fight right there. They're very more community engagement versus the higher ed side in fundraising for a true nonprofit. And I put true with an asterisk because we all know that there's a lot more spending than what I think people realize. But at the end of the day, it's about the student athletes. And going back to even Utah State has an elite fan base. They have a great growing fan base, especially in the students that 90% of the country would die for even half of that attendance at their games from a student section. There's money, Reach and Rise campaign. Again, fundraising, very different model from the pro sports world versus revenue generating. But all that to be said, I'm curious to see where it goes. The trends have always changed. I mean, athletic directors used to be the popular or forced out football coach, one or the other. And now we're starting to hire guys like Newmark, who is taking over in North Carolina in a couple of years, and he's coming over from NASCAR. And that's even a completely different world because that's not even a true apple to apple, so to speak, that maybe president of athletics is what I'm going to call him, President Smith. James E. Smith is coming over from the Atlanta Braves to Maryland. So I think it could be good for athletics as long as we keep the big picture in mind that these are 18 to 22-year-old student athletes. Y'all were talking about mistakes from before. These 18 to 22-year-olds are going to make mistakes on and off the field. And some of these pro sports guys, I think this is going to be a very interesting adventure for them as they get in the chair and all of a sudden some of the decisions that they want to make are running into the VP of Student Services or the Dean of Students or even a compliance aspect that they never had to deal with in the pro sports world.
Casey has a very insightful article all about this up at herosports.com. I would encourage everybody to check it out and kind of explain where we're going in this wild college sports landscape. Casey, we really appreciate it. Seriously, great stuff. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you so much. Hope to talk to y'all again.
Absolutely. There you go. Casey Smurthwaite with us here. Again, herosports.com is where you can read about that.
You blame Jonah Hill for all of this?
Oh, from the movie?
From Moneyball.
From Moneyball?
He's the industry outsider who read Bill James' book. And
I just can't believe...
Everything's outsiders.
I can't believe the NASCAR guy would sign up to be Bill Belichick's boss. I don't think I'd want to do that. And if they take the Carolina blue uniforms and they're just like an all Budweiser logo or something like that, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. But I do think... Look, I get it. These are... more businessy roles than ever before. And I've never really worked in tech culture, but you're exposed to it a little bit because we live in Utah and you see it. And inevitably you have friends who do it. I'm sure you've seen it up close. There's weird, I'm going to be most creative guy and hire the most outside the box hire. And he's going to come in because he ran this business over here and I'm going to put him in here and have him do this. And I think sometimes we forget what actually the job is and it doesn't work out that well. So I'm a little skeptical of this concept. I'll just say that.
All right. Is this too outside of the box? So much of the 80s job now, is fundraising. Mm-hmm. So much of it is. What about hiring an actual grifter?
Okay.
Sleazebag. Yeah, just a grifter. What was that movie with the guy from Newsies where he was a grifter?
Oh, yeah, American Hustle.
Yeah, hire that guy. So you're just swindling people constantly because that's the key to success, right?
Christian Bale.
Yeah, the one who yelled at the person that once.
Yeah.
Be a professional or whatever.
Making eye contact on the...
Yeah.
No, he's moving around. The lighting guy kept moving around.
Yeah, the newsy guys. Yeah. That guy. I'd hire the character that he played.
Sure.
Like an actual grifter.
Here's the problem. Can I tell you? I think that's who some of these people are.
I do too.
Because you know
the best ones.
You know what I keep hearing? And look, you can get excited and think oh, wow, that is a great hire. They ran this. You know what I keep hearing? Replace everybody's name with Larry Scott and see if it actually sounds a lot different, right? He ran the WTA.
The WTA.
He did an awesome job. The women all of a sudden were getting the same contracts as the men at the Wimbledon
And the sport
final.
grew X amount or whatever it was.
Okay, but are you hiring Larry Scott or are you hiring Venus and Serena Williams? Because that's why it worked.
Because that's what happened.
That's what worked. Not Larry Scott. So replace some of these he oversaw NASCAR. It's like, okay, but what was actually happening?
Well, it's what's his name's team in NASCAR.
Yeah, right.
Who's the coach? Why am I going blank?
But
the old Washington, the commies coach.
Rivera.
No, God, Ben, who got into NASCAR years ago after he got done with being a
Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
The commies coach that won the Super Bowl twice.
Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Joe Gibbs. God, he's the
You're
president
just obsessed with old players who played in Washington. Who's your old receiver?
Art Monk. Art Monk is amazing.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
You're right. His bones are settled and dusty now.
I think Art is still with us.
Art died with Bozo the Clown in 1967.
No, stop it. Art Monk.
Joe Gibbs is 84.
Yeah, dust.
He coached Art Monk.
Right.
Bet he did. You're proving my point.
Art Monk is absolutely
We should
still
hire
with us.
Art Monk to run the show.
Art Monk is 67 years young.
But to the point, you hire people with these backgrounds because what is another common talking point we've had on the show, which I think is very astute of you, which is the stupidest person you could get is a consulting firm to come in and hire your coach because they just look at the last guy who won 11 games like that's the guy. We spent $8 million of yours. We doubled the bill because it was $16 million. Actually, we get $8 million. We paid $8 million to find him. And we think the guy who won 11 games at Northwestern is the right guy for you.
Oh, and by the way, we took $500,000 from him, too, so we would recommend him.
So some guy in an office where there's nobody else there, but it claims to be a consulting firm, Google's sports growth, 2025 or 2018 to 2025, and someone says NASCAR's grown consistently 15%.
Hire that guy.
Over and over. And like, get that guy.
Get Joe Gibbs guy.
It's got to be him. We got to get him. And you hire him. It's like, I didn't actually look at why we hired him. I worry about that. That's what happened with Larry Scott.
Art Monk is an executive and co-founder of Alliant Merchant Services, an electric payment service company located in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, got to have him.
That sounds like he's loaded. Sounds like a good thing to do with it in your retirement. Mm-hmm. Found a tech company.
Yeah.
Quit bagging on Art Monk. Dude was awesome.
He was.
And Joe Gibbs was a good coach.
Yeah, 40 years ago, these guys were in their prime.
All right. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
It's official. Jake Retzlaff himself putting it out there on social media. Withdrawals from the school. He's not transferring. He's going to enroll someplace else. So
as they walk on.
There's the loophole. Does Jake Retzlaff start on a football team at the FBS level in 2025?
I think it's too late. Now, could he find a place where he could eventually play during the season? Sure. I said on this show, he'll never play at BYU again. He'll never play another down at BYU. All the baggage that's now been created around this, it's the smart thing for him to just move on. And it's best for BYU for him to move on.
Same.
And now they can go all in. Okay, McKay's our guy. Trayson's our guy. It's time. It's bear time. You start trying to figure out who your guy is. They can move on now. And he can move on. Everybody knows that Jake Retzlaff is no longer at BYU and that BYU is going to find another quarterback this fall.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got him Matrix and also loves his tie guy. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my. From the islands to the basketball courts.
Man, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It was a very unfair conversation we had during the break.
Good news. Former Utah Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell is engaged to be married.
Oh, I saw that. Did we talk about that on Friday?
Nope. I didn't see the story until Saturday, Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it happened like middle of last week even.
Donovan Mitchell announced his engagement to singer Coco Jones on his social media pages. She is a Grammy Award-winning R&B singer. I don't know her music. I tried to find clips to embed in the story, and there was a lot of language in them, so I couldn't do it. I found one photo I could use. Not because the photos are racy, but I like to put video in. People want to know what her music sounds like. I couldn't find one.
I do like when, and I have no idea how famous this gal is. I have no clue. But I do like when they throw labels like that in there. Like, let me put it this way. If she was really all that famous, like if he was marrying Madonna in 1988, do you think they'd throw a singer in there?
No, you would say Madonna marrying NBA star.
Right. Singer could be like she has a karaoke spot on Fridays.
Yeah,
I have no idea. You know what I mean? And if she were really that famous, you wouldn't be throwing the word singer in there, right?
Yes, you're right.
So this sounds like Donovan's marrying Mariah Carey, but it really could be Donovan's marrying the bar band at TGI Fridays.
She serves Wednesday through Thursday.
Because they have to tell me she's a singer.
Yeah. She does have a bigger social media following than Donovan, so I think we might just be a little bit out of our depth on how famous she is.
Maybe we're just old. That's fine.
And I accept that, which is why I did have to look into who Coco Jones is. I don't know. You know, you
Christian, you're our young person. Do you know who this woman is?
I've heard of her, yeah. I don't listen to her, but I heard the name.
I will say this. Somewhat confirmed, somewhat speculation on my part, which is my favorite part of my job is rampant speculation. Donovan's waxing and waning of performance, which usually was pretty consistent, but sometimes there was empty stats and sometimes there was really good stuff. His best stuff came when he was in a healthy relationship. And he had a girlfriend that he was very on and off with in Salt Lake that he had a hard time figuring out. And this is not Coco Jones. And it seemed like when things were better with her, he played better. And when things were off with him, he was thrown off. So I hope for the Cavaliers' sake that we get locked in happy Donovan Mitchell.
All right.
Coco can keep him on the right track. He's got a lot of money coming to him. And they need him. This is. We talked about Donovan lamenting this summer or this playoff run being the one that got away because look at how wide the East was, wide open the East was to go to the finals that the Pacers got there. Next year should be even more wide open because now you don't even have Tyrese Halliburton and you don't have Jason Tatum. But I do think other teams are going for it as well. Orlando, New York, etc.
By the way, what the Lakers did to LeBron by just not calling him or talking to him, or even as he was deciding to pick up his option, or they ghosted him basically. Mm-hmm. This just coming out. Brian Windhorst says the company is not negotiating with him on his contract. No, ESPN is not negotiating with Brian Windhorst. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So
now he said he's holding out hope that they'll get a deal done before the season, but he says they're not even talking to him.
Oh no, they're pushing Windy out the door.
Well, this falls into what we were talking about, though, with LeBron.
Well, that's what that LeBron piece was for.
Fading into the sunset.
That's true. He unleashed a doozy right in the middle of his contract negotiation.
If LeBron and Rich Paul are gone, where does he get his news? Nowhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
they don't need him.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm telling you, they don't want to put that face on television any longer than they have to.
There actually might be something to you're the LeBron guy.
Yeah.
LeBron's not valuable anymore. Why do we need the LeBron
That's
guy?
why he's at ESPN in the first place.
No, you're right. It's the same with McMenamin. There's a lot of LeBron has an economy that has followed him. Rich Paul, we've talked about it a lot.
Wendy's like, I'd like to continue.
Like, we bet you would.
My phone's not ringing.
Yeah.
Strange. Stay tuned. Hans and Scotty G coming up next.
Thanks, Christian.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.